Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Make It Yourself. In today's tutorial we'll be learning how to make this bean stitch heart applique. I have used 100% merchandise cotton because I'll be using this as a reusable face scrubby. You can use acrylic yarn if you'll be using it for any other projects. The crochet hook that I'll use in today's project is of size 4 mm and I'm using a 100% cotton yarn since I'm making a face scrubby. And so we'll start off by making a magic ring, and then we are going to make a chain of 1. Once you've made the chain of 1, you can take the ring out of your fingers, and then we are going to make 6 bean stitches into the ring. So we're going to pull a yarn under it and then yarn over and pull the yarn under it, and we'll do that 2 times. So once we have all the loops, we are going to pull through all the loops and then make a chain of 1. So this is called the bean stitch. So we'll pull it through 3 times. Only thing is, in the first time we will not yarn over, and the 2 second times we are going to yarn over. So the second bean stitch. Similarly, we are going to make a total of 6 bean stitches into the ring. While making the bean stitch, when we pull the yarn through the under the ring, make sure that we are keeping it loose so that we have enough space to pull it under and then make the chain of 1. Also, another thing that you should keep in mind is, after all the loops are formed, just hold it tightly at the bottom and then pull through all the loops. That will make it easier, and our hook will not get stuck in all the loops that we have there. So now we'll pull the tail yarn and close the ring, and then we are going to slip stitch to the top of our first stitch. So we're going to slip stitch here and then make a chain of 1. So into the same stitch we are going to make 1 bean stitch again. So pull through once, yarn over, pull through the second time, yarn over, pull through the third time. Now through all the loops we pull and then do a chain of 1. And the next bean stitch we'll make in the space between the bottom 2 bean stitches. So this is the second bean stitch. Pull through all of them and then chain 1. So the next one will be on top of the next bean stitch. So we'll be repeating this same pattern for the entire round. So here we'll make 1 bean stitch over the bean stitch of the first round, and the next bean stitch we will make in the gap between the bean stitches of the first round. So since the previous row had 6 bean stitches, so this next row will have a total of 12 bean stitches by the end of the round. So we have made here 11 bean stitches, and the last bean stitch we will make just before the first stitch. So this is our last bean stitch, and then chain 1. And so here again we are going to slip stitch it to the top stitch over the bean stitch here. So we're going to make a slip stitch here. So from this stitch we are going to count 4 stitches. First, second, third, and this is the 4th. So on the 4th stitch, which is the gap between the second and the third bean stitch, here we are going to make 7 double crochets. So after we have made the 7 double crochets, we will go and mark the so this is the top part of the heart. We are going to mark the bottom part of the heart, the bottom most pointy edge. So for that we'll count 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have counted 6 bean stitches, and after the 6th bean stitch, the space in between will be marking that point. So there we are going to make a pointy edge to make the bottom of the heart. So we can use a stitch marker, and in my case I am using a thread of different color to mark the bottom stitch. So after this so we have 6 stitches, and after the 6 stitches we have marked the yarn. So we'll have 7 stitches available till we reach our marked stitch. So we're going to make 1 double crochet in each of the 7 double crochets. So we'll make a total of 7 double crochets till we reach the bottom marked stitch. So we'll be making 1 stitch over the bean stitch, and the next stitch will be between the 2 bean stitches. So this is the 7th stitch, and after that on the next stitch that we have marked, we'll remove the yarn, and here we are going to make 1 double crochet, and then we are going to make a chain of 2, and then we'll make another double crochet in the same stitch. After that we will be marking the next top portion where we need to make 7 double crochets together. So that is the 8th stitch from the current stitch. So on the 8th stitch we are going to mark it with the yarn here. So on the 8th stitch we have marked with a yarn, and now we are going to make 7 double crochets like we had done on the other side. So we are going to make 7 double crochets, that is 1 double crochet in each stitch till we reach our marked stitch. On the 8th stitch we will remove the marker first, and then we are going to make 7 double crochets in the same stitch. 1, the second one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So after the 7 stitches we are going to slip stitch it to the center or the very starting stitch, or you can even count. So you can count the 4th stitch from your current stitch and join it there. So the very first stitch of this round we are going to slip stitch it there, but as you can see we do not get the proper heart shape after completing this step. We don't get this rounded edge. So for that what we are going to do is we are going to put a hook at the end of our next bean, that is a bean stitch at the previous round, and make a slip stitch from the bottom. And while making the slip stitch, make sure to pull the yarn as tightly as possible. So we're going to make another slip stitch this time in the center of the heart, and here to make sure to pull the yarn as tightly as possible. And now through the side of that particular bean, we're going to pull a yarn and make another one slip stitch and pull the yarn through it and then trim off the yarn. So as you can see, after we have made this to slip stitch and pulled the center part, we are getting the rounded edge for the heart shape. So we have this tail yarn left here, so we're going to just pull it to the back side, and on the back side we'll be having the centermost tail yarn and the last tail yarn. So both of these two tail yarns, you can either, if you left a long tail, you can use the needle and then just stitch it into the existing stitches, or you can use a smaller crochet hook and stitch it into, crochet into the existing stitches. Just make sure that the edge of the tail is not shown, and here there is no particular way or procedure of doing it. You just have to pass the yarn through multiple times through existing stitches, and then once you have pulled it through quite few number of times, you can just trim it off. So here our heart face scrubby is ready. You can gift it to your loved ones during Valentine's Day, and you can also use the same design to make any other project. And I hope you enjoyed, so do subscribe and click on the bell icon for notifications on new videos, and give me a thumbs up. Thank you for watching today's video, and you guys have a great day.